All right, you groovy, I do mean groovy grasshoppers. I know it's Wednesday, it's not Thursday. We are recording the Full Change podcast. We have three exciting guests scheduled for tomorrow. So obviously that does not leave me time to do this show tomorrow. So we're going to do it today. Yes, the fan is blazing. Did we call it blazing? Fan blazing. Fan is on. Hot. No air conditioning. When the fan's on, it's all good. No problem at all. All right, so we're waiting for people to get on here. Again, I apologize to somebody that is probably just expecting it for it to be tomorrow, but he should have made an announcement. But we are on now, live. Announcement, dog situation. It appears people have gotten the message. All dogs are on leashes. You know, I hate to, you feel like an educator, right? Like it's just something, they needed to be educated. Okay, I just don't understand the logic, obviously. There's a town ordinance in the town of Greenwich and most towns. Mimsy, what's happening? Creature, you magical creature. So it's a town ordinance, excuse me, in the town of Greenwich, like most towns. I was actually looking around at apartments in the area, other towns other than Greenwich, and they had one town. I can't remember if I said this on the air or not, but they had one town that said this big thing, and you don't have to have your dog on a leash. Like it's a good thing. Like I'm not moving to that town. Lorraine, magical creature, you. Good morning. Again, I apologize, everyone, we had to reschedule. Tomorrow we're doing 3 morning podcasts, the Full Change podcast we're recording. You can blame Tom Smith for that. So that's his fault. We get some great guests. Lucien Deblois is tomorrow. Who else did we have going? I can't remember. Oh, there's some guy that he goes online and does. He's got a lot of followers. He does all these trick hockey shots. Big following. We've got him coming on tomorrow too. And there's somebody else. I can't remember who it was. Young lady who has asked me to help her a little bit with her stuff. She's a female lacrosse goalie. And Rachel Valarelli, she's made the U.S. Olympic team goaltender. So congratulations to her. Happy. It's not Thursday, you silly boy, you. It's Wednesday. We had to reschedule. I don't know if I think I already did that on purpose. Like, or you think he's being silly, or is he really? Let me check. Wednesday. Yes, it is Wednesday. Happy birthday, happy Thursday, Sex Machine. Ron Jameson, yo, brother, what's happening? Magical veteran up there in Buffalo, New York. Tremendous person. All right, so now, okay, we're closing in on the 18th, which is supposedly the landing date, the estimated date of arrival of Mr. Larry Melnick. Now, I started to see more emails and stuff like notifying me of what he needs done, situation. Like I can see, like even the 2 days that I've allowed him to stay here, that could be very painful. Like I'm not, used to being on your own too, and all of a sudden you have to be a babysitter for a grown man. Rochelle usually does that job. Rochelle Melnick, fantastic person. Dougie DeVito, how are you doing? Again, sorry, everybody, that we had to reschedule as people get on the show. We're doing 3 podcasts tomorrow. We're recording the Full Change podcast. We get Lucien Deblois. I'll get this other guy's name, too. He's pretty cool. You go look at him online on Instagram. He's doing all these crazy stick handling tricks and everything. Very, very talented guy. Let me see what his name is. You go to, it's Lev 802. That's so really cool. He's got a lot of followers. He's got like 151,000 followers. And if you go look, he's got some great stick handling moves. He's done. I've seen him before. I didn't realize who he was. And then to Tom's credit, being a pain in the rear end he went out and chased him down. Let me see here. How long before you respond to the emails? It's one thing reading them. Yeah, here's the deal. Like with Larry Melnick, it's like, okay, if you if there's the expectation that you're just going to drop everything for his needs and desires, it'll just never end. It's clearly just a one-way street too. There's no nothing coming back. Like you ask him for a favor, and it's like the red carpet you rolled out for Mister. Well, if you want to roll it out, you roll it out. But I'll be locking the door as soon as those 2 days are done. He did send a message, something about Ira and Wayne, Rich Spezzano, and everybody taking care of him, so I don't have to drive him around. Thomas Matthews. Good morning, brother. Thomas Matthews. Let me see. Yeah. Is the first class Greyhound? Yeah. I think I'm off the hook a little bit. I guess I think the Rangers put him up for. Seriously, for what, Mimsy? I'm. Do you think I'm being harsh on Larry Valak? Is that what you're saying, Mimsy? I respect your opinion. It's just if you could see the barrage, and it's clear too when these emails come in. It's in the later portion of the day where you're assuming there's some PBRs that have been infused into his body. I'll tell you, those memes. I'm like a little kid. I may take a video of myself finding those memes. I said we call them memes. Memes. I don't even know what a meme is, for gosh sakes. All right, what's Mimsy got to say? Is everything is on? Everything is on Larry. You usually say how he never responds. It keeps you in the loop. Okay, well, yeah, okay, but that's part of the issue. So when I need him to respond, and like he says he's going to be on the show, it's just it doesn't happen. When he wants something, then it's like drop everything time. That's the issue. Be interesting. I hope it's hot when he's here too. That'll get him to a hotel. No air conditioning in this home. No TV. You can just see him complaining, sweating. And the room he's staying in too, it doesn't have, there's no curtains in the room either, so the sun is just going to shine right in on him early in the morning when he's sleeping in. Oh, man. Let me see. The great Ira has to say, you should have Katsu over there. A couple of large pizzas. Some cigarettes. Maybe a Coke. Excuse me. That show him I'm the bigger person. Well, okay. Well, but don't you think though, Mimsy, that I'm setting myself up that I'm just being used. Like now he has expectations that I'm just gonna drop everything to take care of his whims and needs, and then nothing's changed. So then when I say, okay, Larry, coming on the show, he says, oh yeah, Tom, I'll be there. And then you never hear from him. So something's got to change, though, Mimsy, don't you think? I mean, we can't just keep going this way. Used bicycle seat that he rides around in, with the thing popping up in the middle. There has been some of the ones that are funny, but I think I shouldn't really post them there. They're might be offensive. What's the whole? I'd like to hear everybody's taking the whole. And again, I'm assuming this stuff's all true. Like apparently there's kids now that are identifying as animals, like dogs and cats at school, and so when they respond to the teacher, they respond with animal noises. And apparently the teachers can't do anything about it. They just have to let them do it because they get the freedom of choice. Good Lord. You know what I've been watching too? I get stuck watching is they do the Hard Knocks. I guess Detroit Tigers, Detroit Lions, where the Hard Knocks team they featured last year. I'm really starting to like that Dan Campbell, the coach. Watching their stuff. What we got? Stop, seriously. Oh, with the kids acting like animals. No, man. Where's it going? Well, I guess everybody has the rights to do what they want to do, right? Let me see. Yeah. Can I do that and work on? Yeah. Yeah, it's a funny video where the guy was, I believe it was a joke, but he said he was all the different genders and identified as an animal so that he could never get fired or something like that. It was pretty funny. That is the thing, man. What else? How's everybody's holiday weekend? I didn't do anything. I shut myself in. I was in a mood, as I mentioned, with Mark Putvink, and locked myself in. So I've got the back deck. It's all fenced in, big fence for privacy, but then it's got one area where you can walk out. It's like about a 2 foot wide area. So I put one of my deck chairs in there. I put a deck chair in there. And because it was to keep the dogs out. I said, no, so keep me in. I'm going to go to jail soon if I keep going the way I'm going. What else do we got going on? It's funny. See some of the stuff now that people are suspecting. I'm sure this is the conspiracy theorist. Some people are thinking that Biden died years ago and there's a fake dummy or a dummy. And somebody with a mask on or both. It's like that's really not Biden. I'll tell you, when people put together those videos where they take all the times where he just can't speak, where the words come out just garbly-gook, we all do that. Excuse me, but he makes a habit of it. It's pretty funny. It's almost like you feel bad for him, right? Because it's same thing with that Mitch McConnell. You just wonder, like, what the heck? You don't like. I'm not. You don't want to be picking on these people because there's obviously something wrong with them. But Ted Sater for president. Huh. Well, I actually heard, maybe you said it, Ira, that he's in politics someplace. And the funny thing is, like, he worked really hard. Like, he studied the game really hard. And I knew him before he became an NHL coach. I was up in Northern Michigan. He would come up and work at our hockey camps. He was friends with Rick Comley, the coach, Coach Comley. And, and I actually thought he was a pretty cool guy. But then when he's just one of those guys that never should have been an NHL coach. Just didn't suit him. Doesn't mean he's an overall bad person all around, but did some things that I guess maybe he is a bad person. Kids they are growing up way too soft and have no respect. They need to bring back which spoon this one. Yeah, Keith, good to see you or good to hear from you again. You magical veteran, another one of our vets. Yeah. We had anybody that saw it. We had Jim Kite who was doing we did our podcast, Full Change podcast. I had never spoken to Jim Kite before. Played against him all the time. Knew that he had hearing issues, but didn't know like he was like I had to move my mic down like he was lip reading. And he had a great. He told a story. He called it snowplow parents. So they just want to come in and clear out the way for their kids, all the dangers and bad things that happen. So the kids never face anything. They just. The parents always take care of things. And he actually told a story about how I think his mother, he had like 3 or 4 brothers. I can't remember the number. And his mother was the only one that was not deaf in the family. And he would make them sit at the table, the kitchen table, and say their words properly. I think sometimes you've heard people that are hard of hearing or deaf, they can't hear their own voice, so they really can't, they're not knowing how they're saying the words. And, like her theory was, she's not going to let any of her kids, her family, grow up with something like the hearing issue being a handicap for them. She forced them to have a normal life. He played in national hockey; he couldn't hear. It was amazing to sit there. Even like I didn't really go out of my way to try to enunciate or use say something louder or like that. He was able to pick up everything I said. So we had a normal conversation, and again, just watching them play in the NHL. There's so much stuff like your partner's yelling at you, whistles blowing. You don't always see everything going on. But when he played, man, he was a good player and tough too. So it's really so you talk about the snowplow parents. Keith brought it up there about the parents being too soft on their kids. In that case, if she had made it seem like, okay, you've got a handicap, poor you mentality, then he's an intelligent guy too. I think he's somewhere in the Canadian government doing something too, and I can't remember what it is. But here's the case. I mean, he's got the handicap. That's it. You got a long life to lead. Don't sit around and it's easy for us to say if we don't have a handicap, but as a parent with kids, you're really handicapping them, to Keith's point, by making them seem like it's poor you. I was fortunate growing up on the farm. It was there was no, it's just like, okay, you want to play in the National Hockey League? I've told the story where I was first started running when Roger Nielsen. I was drafted by the Peterborough Petes junior team And Roger Nielsen sent a training program out, and I never run before. And now I'm running around on the gravel roads of the farm country and started getting shin splints. And didn't know what they were. My parents were doctors and like that, never into fitness. And so he took me to the doctor and says, you get shin splints. So what do? You go back, and it wasn't me being some tough kid or something like that. It was just the environment I grew up in was go back out there and keep running. If you want to play in the NHL someday, it's just the way it is. You just deal with it. So yeah, I saw about this too. Ron, thanks for bringing this up. Brad Maxwell, our former heroes, passing too soon. Yeah, tough man. He was tough, dude. Yeah, he was a good player. Big right-handed shot, good shot and everything too. Just that hard defenseman, right? He played the bulk of his career for Minnesota. I think he was also in Philadelphia for a period of time. But yeah, there's a lot. I was talking to some old college teammates who are trying to get together for 2026. Mike Harris, one of my great guy. He's trying to put it together. He was there when I first started. I think he played on the club team before I started in Northern Michigan. That was the first year they had the hockey team, Division I hockey team was the first year I was there. And he was telling me about some guys that have passed away that I played with in college. It's going to be the 50th anniversary of 2026 of the first year we had a hockey program up there. So there's guys that are in, one guy, great guy. I don't know if he's ever listened to that, Terry Hoke. He's had some health issues himself. Some other guys have passed away. It's just amazing that I guess we're at that age, right? Where Timmy Harris, Mike's brother, another great guy too. Lost him a few years ago in an accident. So it is that time, right? Yes, I saw Bubba posted that. Bubba posted that Barry Beck posted that Brad Maxwell passed away. Yes. Sorry, Susan. No, it is not Thursday. We're doing a recording of our 3 recordings of our podcast. Tomorrow Full Change podcast. Lucien Debevois, former Ranger, great guy, good player too. We're going to record a video with him. This young guy, and I said it earlier, and I'll post it again, but he does a lot of these trick stick handling things. Tom Smith nailed him down. He's coming out. Come here, who else do we have tomorrow? We got somebody else too. We had some good guests. Like guys got Bruce McNall and Neil Smith. Neil Smith was interesting too. If you really look at the timeline, he obviously put the team together that won the Stanley Cup here in '94 of the Rangers, and then pretty quickly after that, kind of faded away. And I think good guy. There's a certain amount. I don't mean this in a bad way. There's a certain amount that you have to kind of promote yourself or have somebody else promoting you. And he even acknowledged it in the show that he really didn't do that. And you could tell he's not bitter at the Rangers, but he just, obviously he showed that he knows what he's doing, putting teams together, and to then just be gone. These Nuts for President was the best satirical candidate for These Nuts for President. How about the guy who was running for mayor of New York City? The rent's too damn high. Is that what his he called himself? Wally Thacker. Good morning from Los Angeles. What are you doing in LA there, Wally Thacker? Good to see you. Good luck, Carl. I was sorry when he left the Rangers. Yes, he good scare, man. He could fly, that guy. What happened? He get hit in the eye, right? Is that he hurt his eye? And I remember I saw the statement. I think that Susan posted actually too that he just said the eye injury is too bad. He could come back from. I remember that's when I represented Brian Berard when he got hit in the eye. Pretty much the vision was pretty much gone. He had the detached retina. Went to Dr. Stanley Chang. I was told by everybody that we asked that this was the top doctor. Great guy. There's a lot of great guys in the world. But he fixed it the best he could. But the vision was pretty much gone in his eye. And when Brian Berard first hurt his eye, he couldn't walk through a door because the depth perception was gone. And then I'll never forget the day he told me he wanted to come back and try to play. I was like, whoa, because I just just assumed that's it. He was done. Hockey Bill, we had 13 years minus to his wedding. Oh, nice, very cool, good job. So when Brian Berard, I said to him, I said we got to be really good friends, even more so during his eye injury. He's come down, stayed at my house a lot from Rhode Island, and I guess I liked people more back then. I just don't know if Larry Melnick's going to survive living in my house for 2 days. But Brian and his family would come down, go to doctor visits and everything, and finally to the point where I said to him, "Why don't you come work with me as an agent?" And you can tell that wasn't his thought process. He wanted to come back and play, and I was lucky. Herb Brooks, who was still alive at the time, He was coaching the Olympic team. What year would that have been? I can't remember which year that was. So I asked him. I said, "Could Brian, come and skate?" Because we want to kind of showcase him at that point. Because I think everybody in the hockey world thought that he was just done playing. So Herb, in Herb's typical way, he's not making the team. He's not trying to. I said, "No, Herb, I want to get him to skate," and he was really good about it. Actually, he was very supportive. Herb was. And so Brian went in and skated with the Olympic team, and they're kind of tryouts I had. And then I just called all the general managers or assistant general managers I knew, and I said, "Listen, he's got a tryout here." And actually, Don Maloney was assistant GM with the Rangers at the time. So I said, "Don, I think this guy, if he can play, I mean, he's still a first overall draft pick that he was, if he can play." So I guess he had a good enough camp. So Rangers signed him to a contract. It's kind of a reverse contract. Typically, you have it's different now, but an option years on contracts. So usually it would have been like a 2-year contract with a 1-year option. The team, I think it was all the team's option whether they want to pick up that final year or not. With this one, because of the uncertainty with Brian's career, we had a 1-year contract with 3 option years, and it was pretty good money too if they played throughout the contract. That made it so that we either felt that if he's good enough, then the contract is there, because he had he just had to pay back insurance and everything. So, but it was also a high enough number that it forced the Rangers to say, "We don't want to pay that." It didn't really go that well for them. But that then also gave us the option of making him an unrestricted free agent, so he could sign someplace else. He did, went signed with Boston. So it was, the eye injury thing is to play pro sports and come back from it. There's very few. Bill Chadwick, the former Ranger broadcaster referee, he'd lost his eye when he was playing too. There's been other guys. Well, I guess it's awful. The ambassador, he played back with the Bruins. He's a few guys. Let me see here. Okay, what do we got here from the great Ira Matthew? Who requires more pampering? Taylor Swift before a concert, Larry Melnick's visit? Oh, no question. It's just like it's a pattern too, right? So it's like no contact. I need something from him, like a commitment to be on the show. No, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And then all of a sudden he's coming in and clear the tracks because here comes Larry Melnick. Like everything's got to be done. He's contacting people all over, especially getting rides. He wants phone numbers. He's got other friends coming into town, and he wants me to get them all taken care of with entertainment and everything. Maybe that's why I got in such a bad mood there for a few days. It's a pressure from Larry Melnick. I can't remember if it was like that when we played together. Maybe it was. I just wasn't paying attention as much back there. Minza has took an eye. I'll stick the eye from teammate pair. Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay. I remember that. Well, he again posted about the eye injury, but gotta love the Yankees outfielder Jason Dominguez has a cute nickname, the Martian. Did you ever? Did they call him Martian? I didn't know that. No. Lades. Well, I've told the story too, where they called Ledge was the name. So my first year in the league, I think it was a reporter here wrote an article that I was a legend in my own time up at Northern Michigan University. And of course, when your teammates see that, it's like, oh, really? If this you're a rookie too, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're a legend, are you? So they called me Ledge. And it's funny because we'll go someplace sometimes, like we saw Eddie Hospital a few months ago. Went down to Philly, had a little thing going on that Brian Prop put together. So we went down to their podcast there, Tom Smith and I. And Eddie came up to me because he was back in that era. Go, hey, Ledge. It's kind of because I don't, it's Lades or something like that now. So let me see. Yeah. Brian Duffy, another veteran, magical creature. Does Larry at least get a mint on his pillow? He's going to get something like a mint. It's like he's going to get a pillow at all. Like, I'm not renting a hotel here. For gosh sakes. Seriously. Like, I don't, just my take in general, I don't ask to stay at anybody else's house. I mean, we're going someplace, I stay in a hotel. Just kind of, I went down to Jackie's wedding down in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. I didn't call up somebody down there and say, hey, listen, can I stay at your house? Stay in a hotel. Man. Just the whole imposition, it's my house. It's not like a public right away. It's not like National Hockey League. everybody from the National Hockey League I played with gets to stay at my house. It's privacy. I'm divorced, for gosh sakes. Did you get rookie initiation? Negative. I did not. I think it was that Kotze was getting in so much trouble with the vets that they initiated him, and that was nasty. And so then they came to me and said, "Are you going to talk the rest of the year?" And I said, "Nope." So I kind of avoided that. I'll tell you, I'll never forget sitting in the corner of the playland where we practiced in Rye, New York, and watching them get Kotze. Oh my! They had it. People that didn't. It's it was pretty nasty. That stuff does not go on now. So they had him tied to the table, the medical table, stick underneath the legs, stick underneath the arms, like he was like Jesus tied to the cross. I think I'm correct in this. It was Steve Vickers who I didn't pretend, he urinated into a cup. And then they had Kotze all tied down, shaving him with a loose razor and everything. So some nicks and some other stuff going on with him. Well, and they also had his little Johnny was tied to a skate lace up over a pipe on the ceiling, stretched to the point where he couldn't move too much, or he was going to lose little Johnny. And so Steve Vickers went and poured out the urine, but he came back with a cup full of warm water. But Kotze does not know he exchanged the urine for water, so he thinks it's still urine. And then when they held his nose and started pouring it down his throat, oh, awful. I was sitting there watching it going, because when you're watching it, you're thinking, that could be happening to me soon. And they came over to me, and they're all playing the Gillette song too. I can't remember, they were whistling the Gillette song. I can't remember how that went. They all came over to me, and are you going to talk anymore? I said, no more talking this year. I'm done talking. Morning, George. How are you? You Schlereth, you? George Schlereth. And then that's a junior, too. So that means there's another George Schlereth, too. There's a lot of Schlereths going on. Schlereth. What is it, German? Mark Stowe hit the eye by Verjet Fletcher. Yes. Yes, he did, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, your eye is kind of protected, right? It's in that socket there. So you get a lot of cuts on your eyebrows and everything. But it's surprising still that there isn't more eye injuries around the league. How's the online dating profile come along? I mentioned you were on Survivor. No, I'm not online dating, Ira. Although I'll tell you what, Facebook's turned into a dating site too, though. A lot of people contacting on Facebook, women posting, they have those profile pictures with the bikinis on. And if you really believe that all the women in the world look like what you see on Instagram or Facebook, then you just be like, where am I living? Like, but a lot of makeup, a lot of plastic surgeries, a lot of beautiful people out there, just natural, beautiful people too. Okay, and I'm reading more too about how I know because Ira wears makeup, and I was kind of concerned about him. That how bad makeup is for you too, like the stuff that they put in it that goes into your skin and everything. It's the whole makeup thing. Listen, everybody does what they want to do. That's not my place to judge, but I just think women are much more beautiful when they're just natural. That's my belief. But again, they can do what they want. Took some time off in the gym too. The old Yukon Denali was acting up. Okay, I think who was it that made a comment? Was it last time? So if anybody's like a car expert, so my car's working great. I got like 120,000 miles on it. Got the new engine in there with a 3-year, 100,000 mile warranty on it. And all of a sudden, I started getting this noise, and it was just randomly, like it was grinding. And I think somebody mentioned maybe there's a nut loose. Well, that's Ira. In the tire or something like that, because it doesn't do it. It runs perfect. There's no noise. It runs fantastic. And all of a sudden, you get this grinding noise. It lasts for 2 seconds, stops, and you go for a couple of days without it happening, driving around, and then all of a sudden it happens again. Mechanics looked at it. He's got a buddy that works at the dealership where I bought the vehicle, and he drove around for a while. He couldn't even get it to make the noise. And my mechanic heard it. Tried a bunch of new brakes put on, new brake pads, everything. drain the fluid and the differential, put new fluid in, and it's lessened it once he did that. So we're guessing that there's something in the fluid there in the differential. But who knows? Susan probably will research it and find out what it is because she always researches everything, gets answers, get answers. All right, what else? There was something else I saw in the news that I was interested in doing a lot more. You know what the bad? Like I try to stay away from watching the news, but then I get stuck doing a lot of reading. I feel like okay, I need to get educated and know what's going on. That's even worse sometimes. So like you start all that nonsense going on, all the Bill Gates buying up all the farmland because he's going to stop producing meat because he's selling this artificial meat. And hear all these stories: BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street owning all the pharmaceutical companies, all the fast food restaurants. So they're feeding us all the unhealthy food to get us fat and diabetic, and then they're going to sell us the medication that really doesn't get rid of the diabetes and all that stuff. It just masks the problem. So, what else we got going? Oh, how about two women? They were in a bike race, and one woman on the same team shoved her teammate in the fence. Wow. I wonder why I'm not married. What else we got going? What else is in the news that's exciting? How about all the theories, too, about the Hawaii wildfires, where they didn't use the alarms, didn't let the sound alarms off, they turned the water off. This is the reports. Like I said, when they said at one point, well, if the alarms went off, people would have went back to their homes. Well, I would think we would have been intelligent enough to notice, okay, my home's on fire. I'm not going to go back to it. Like that logic is like, so they got supposedly the biggest warning system, for tsunamis and all that kind of stuff. Biggest, best warning system in the world, somebody was saying. And they didn't sound the alarm when the wildfires are out. They're saying the people will go back to their home. So I'm going to look, and I guess my house is on fire. I'm not going back. Okay. A lot of us say too, there's way more deaths than they have been reporting. Some people say into the thousands. So, Suzanne. No, thank you for reminding me. I did at Suzanne's. She was very nice to look up the casting director for the cooking channel. So I'd send in, to fill out the thing on the email, the application on the email. I sent it about 10 days ago, and I'm thinking I probably sent it at a bad time, right? Like I'm sure a lot of people would be out of the office on vacation. So I'm going to resend it. I'll send it. I'll do it today, probably, because I tried to pour it on pretty hot and heavy, with like NHL and Survivor. How they can go see my podcast that I currently have for cooking shows. Didn't do one Sunday, holiday weekend, family stuff. I was going to take my grandson, the dog, Maverick, Monday. I'm pretty proud of myself with my relationship I got with my sons. Instead of making some excuse, I just told Shane, my oldest son, I said, it's just I'm in a bad mood. And he said, oh, totally understand. That's fine. So he was, his in-laws are in town from Florida. They must have come back yesterday, I think. Retired. Sorry to answer your question, Susan. No feedback on that at all. I'm going to try to get on that. So we're taping shows tomorrow. Tom Smith comes over to the True Good Life studio here at Putnam Green in Greenwich, Connecticut. And so we got a bunch of stuff we got to get the book wrapped up. In one way, we could have done 2 books really, but I've changed a whole lot, like stuff since it's been years, right, Susan? You've been before the pandemic that we started. That's right, because it got delayed because of the pandemic. The initial writer is a great guy too, David Siegerman, out of New Rochelle. I think he lives. He just got. I think he thought his wife was going to lose her job, so he took on a whole bunch of new stuff and just didn't have time to complete it. And then once people have told me this too, it's easy to start a book, it's the hard part's finishing it. So it's just always new stuff happening. I know what else has happened. It ended up I did not get the job anyways, but I was a candidate. They started in a new kind of revamped professional women's hockey league. There's a New York team, obviously based here in New York, and my hat was thrown in the ring to be a candidate for general manager, but I was not. I don't think I was really. It was a friend of mine through my. He had some connections there through my name, but I don't think I was really that much of a candidate. I feel confident, doing all the Asian business. I'd be qualified to do it. It's a women's league, so I'm rightfully so. I'm assuming in a position like general manager, especially, they would want a woman as much as possible. Brian Burke, former NHL general manager, he's head of the Players Association. They're taking it very seriously too. I read his comments. Do you know? No, and that was one of the questions. At first blush, it looks like New York could be a great market, and it still can be. But that was one of the issues. Like, okay, there's so much going on at venues like Madison Square Garden, for example. Will they let them use the Garden or any like Barclays? Just so many concerts all the time and everything. I guess the schedule's not that long. There's 24 games in total, so just 12 home games in the playoffs and preseason. But the Rangers, speaking to the Rangers there, I mean, I should not speak for them, but it appears they will be involved in some capacity supporting the team. Just makes sense, right? Women's hockey is getting better and better. We're fortunate the Rangers have us go to a lot of these pure hockey events, pure hockey where they sell hockey equipment. And they've got a program with the NHL and the Rangers where they, for $350, I think it is, through the junior Rangers, kids can come in. So it's easy to get started. That's the one bad thing with hockey. It's an expensive sport to get into. This way, for $350, they'll go into pure hockey, get fitted for all the equipment they need. They then will ship the equipment to the family, and they'll have 10 sessions on the ice during a 10-week period of time. So it gives them a chance to say, okay, I'm really not sure if I want this or not. From the kids' point of view, and it's a fairly inexpensive way to get going. So it's a great program, pure hockey. It's smart for them too, bring people into their store. But it's pretty good. And you see a lot of girls coming in playing now. And again, I help coach the girls high school team here in the town of Greenwich, and they were unbelievable. There's some of the girls, not all of them, and you don't expect it. It's high school hockey. Some of the girls were not like really into the fitness as much. Although when they came to practice and fitness drills, the coach was this Brooke Heron. She played football. She played hockey. She played college too. I can't remember where she went. But she was excellent. Great coach. Really had the kids know a lot of off-ice stuff and everything. And a lot of the girls really worked out. They would go to fitness during the summer to get ready, and were good players. The one girl was Peyton. I can't remember her last name. Player. She was a junior the year I coached. Good player. They had bear at that. She worked hard. And she was kind of nasty too. She had little edge to her. And I was skating. We missed some players, and I was also trying to skate some more. We were playing an alumni game. Oh, that's right. We're playing a charity alumni game against the Islanders. So I've been on the ice, but you're really not skating that much when you're on the ice coaching. So I was participating in the drills, and I guess I was a little rusty. And she yelled from the bench. It was hilarious. She yells, "Coach, if you can play in the NHL, then I can play in the NHL too." And she said it like she was a great kid, like just a real leader. So a lot of fun. Peyton, it's awful. I forget her last name. Peyton and Caroline, too, the two juniors. They work out at a fitness place. It's terrible. It's just right around the corner for me too, and it's terrible. I have to think of that. But it was they're good. It was a great year to coach. Typical thing. It's always that's the one thing with coaching is dealing with the parents. And when you coach, part of your job is to make them better people too. It's probably a more important part of your job than the hockey part of it. And part of that is discipline and having, rules, and you tell everybody at the start of the year, here's the way it's going to be. So we had rules that, it's team stuff that, everybody's going to wear the same sweatsuit, to the games and be on time for practices and games and everything. And typically, so if somebody's going to miss, you say to them, listen, okay, if you can't fulfill the commitment, then let us know. Okay, if you're going to be late, call and let us know, or text us if you want. And it's got to be the girl in this case that calls, or it can't be the parent. We don't trying to get rid of that snowplow parent thing. And we had some issues with a couple of girls, and so as you do as a coach, it happens all the time. We hadn't actually done it very much, if at all, during the year. Some girls, they were having problems following all the team rules, being on time and everything. So it was unfair. The captains were coming to us and saying, listen, everybody else is following the rules. What's going on? That's unfair. It's unfair to everybody. It's unfair to the people that are following the rules, and it's unfair to the young girls that are not following the rules, because it's our job there to make sure that they learn how to be team players. That's part of life. You have a job, you have a relationship, whatever it is. So we set them out for a game, and it became it, which isn't a big deal. It's part of what happens. Excuse me. We told the parents at the start of the year that's one of the things that we have at our disposal to discipline the players, and that's ice time. So that was not taken too well by some of the parents, but when you coach for a while, you realize it's going to happen. Parents are going to get upset. They love and what you learn is, and I'm sure everybody here knows this, they just love their kids. They see their kids. They understand it's a team, but in their mind, and rightfully so, I'm the same way with my kids. I love my kids, and I'm going to take care of. It's not really my job to take care of other kids. It's my job to take care of my kids. But at the same time, like we talked, it's understanding that, if you're going to play a team sport, you're going to learn that you're a team player and you have to abide by team rules that the coaches put down, and you suffer the consequences if you don't. So there's we had one scene at the rink. Oh man, I'll be careful. I don't mention names or anything like that, because the mother I knew is a fantastic person. She was just upset that her daughter had gotten benched. She came storming into the rink, and man, whew. And we also we have a 24-hour rule too. So from the time of an incident for another 24 hours, we're not going to discuss because temperature. And I found that really is helpful. Everybody settles down during the 24-hour period. But during that time, so again, it's going to happen. So at the start of the year, you sit down and say, listen, we got the 24-hour rule. So there'll be no exception. You cannot have exceptions to that too, because once you start letting them have exceptions, well, then everybody thinks, well, you did it for this person. So, and usually what happens is when you say, and they come to you and they're heated and they want to have an explanation, they say, listen, we have a 24-hour rule. Well, that doesn't end it. They still want to, it's different. We're friends, or, just this one time, or I'm leaving, going on the road, or whatever it is. Said, nope, it's a 24-hour rule. And Brooke, who was coaching, I don't think she'd ever seen that kind of an act happen like that. And because she's a sweetheart person, great coach, put a ton of effort and her heart into coaching the team, and really wanted to make a difference with his players and people. So when she saw this for the first time, and it's probably more my fault too, I don't think I warned her enough at the start that this was going to happen. It's just a guaranteed fact. I don't think any year I've ever coached have I not had an incident like that where the parents are not too happy, right? Something's happened to their child. They think it's unfair because they want their child taken care of. And you understand it. At first, when you start coaching, you don't really understand it all the time. But after a while from coaching, you understand that you kind of get bitter about it. And then you come back and say, well, okay, they love their kids. That's all it is to it. So that's it. All right. Not as much going on today. Again, I probably screwed up a bunch of people who I didn't make a notification. Oh, Deb's going to be mad at me. Oh, out there in the Midwest. She actually brought it up that I should notify her. She sent out a message that like at different times or no show or whatever. And I got on this one. I just realized, oh God, we could do all those shows tomorrow. There's a Full Change podcast. We're doing pretty good in that podcast too. We're up there like the worldwide podcast. There's like millions of them. I think we're like 6,000 or 7,000. I know that's not a real high number, but compared to all the podcasts that are out there. What time I was at Costco yesterday, actually. Man, I don't know what was going on yesterday. It was packed. I guess it's the first day back. Kids are going to school and everything. Like kids around here start school tomorrow. But yeah, is it tomorrow? I think it was yesterday. The first, man. And I don't know. It was like a fashion show too. Women are walking around with the dresses on the whole bit. Like, what is going on here? So this one really attractive. I think it was Jamaican or something like that. She had the nice dark skin, yellow dress on. I go, man, you're gorgeous. And first she looked at me like, what is wrong with this guy? And then she started laughing. So, yes, Costco was on fire yesterday. Had a long line because at our Costco here in Portchester, they have an escalator system, so there's 2 levels. So you've got your cart, you got to line up to get your cart going. So there's 2 escalators going down, 2 escalators going up. Obviously, you put just one going up because you ride with your cart going up, but going down, the cart goes separately. I guess the theory is that once in a while they those carts lock somehow, the wheels lock. There has been times when the carts go flying down the escalator. I keep wanting to be there when it happens. Well, I don't want it because my buddies are at the end there. I don't want them to get hurt. But Tom has Ms. Windows stopped her complaining about you. Yeah, Windows closed. And I thank you for bringing that up, Mizzy. And I really took people's advice. I think we talked about it on the show. I made an effort. Actually, I was talking to my youngest son Cody about this, and he said, "Listen, make an effort to go farther away." And then whenever I see her again, maybe I should make a point of going over there. I want to bring up, okay, is the noise worse now? Her windows are closed now. Now I don't know if that's because it's so hot and she's got the air conditioning going, or if I've solved the problem because I've tried to be farther away. But my morning videos at 3:53 is like 8 seconds. And she was, like I think I said before, she was a wonderful person too. It was very nice and polite. She wasn't mad at me, like that. But you can't. I mean, if you heard the noise, if you're sitting outside, and it's not biggest, I guess it's because it's in my mind now. But a lot of noise. Let me see here. What kind of toilet paper? Charmin Ultra Soft or the Kirkland brand? Or just these? No leaves. We didn't use the leaves. We used the hand. And then Survivor, the water, the ocean water. It's the Charmin, right? Is that what they sell? It's not. I tried the Kirkland, but it was kind of tough one, little tushy. So the Kirkland, or not the Kirkland, the Charmin Ultra Soft. That's the one thing where you can spoil yourself a little bit there. You start going with that one ply. First of all, that's scary because you're going through the paper with your finger. What? The others did like. This is terrible. No. Was I speaking more softly? Maybe I'm more aware of it now. Like, it's true. Like I'm up and I'm fired up at 3:53 in the morning. So it was kind of like you want it to be motivational, right? But maybe I'll tone it down. But the other part of me, it's like not everybody else is like, nobody else is just like being totally quiet. We're living in a condominium complex. God's sakes. Let me see here. Tom ran his cart into Gordy Lane. Gordy Lane. Why would I? Is that just a random name here? Gordy Lane, I don't know what's happened to Gordy Lane. He and another former player, Pete Laboutier. Pete played after Gordon and I would have played, and they started a really interesting business. What was it called? Next Shift was the name of the business. And they were buying up they bought some restaurants, Fridays, TGIF Friday or something like that kind of restaurant. So they would put groups of players together and they go buy a restaurant. I felt it went south because not all the restaurants were doing as well. So some people's investment they lost. And there's again in the bylaws, I believe what it said was they can move money from one restaurant to another, but it was different people owning different restaurants. So I don't think they actually did anything wrong. I think it rubbed people the wrong way. Maybe what should have happened was that a whole bunch of people put money together and they invested, diversified the money to different restaurants. Probably Ira can talk to it better than I can. So it went south. It was too bad because it was a good concept and one of the things that could have grown and owned a lot of different things and made the guys a lot of money all working together. Empathy. Okay. So I'm assuming you're saying, am I being empathetic? You're reminding me to be empathetic towards everybody when I go out in the morning. And I think I am. It's not like I'm out there, reading like a novel. I'm going, excuse me, it's 8 seconds. The point's to inspire others, help people, get up and get going. 8 seconds. And I got my windows open all the time. There's always noise. Trucks and dogs. Let me see here. What do we got? Guacamole, good or bad for you? Good. So if you're charting all your foods in, guacamole will look like it's high in fat, but that's good fats. It's not bad fats for you. So guacamole is excellent for you. I have at least a half an avocado every day, which obviously is guacamole. I think it's really good for your skin, your overall health. Yes, good food, tasty too. Get some nice chips with it. I have some multi-grain chips from Costco, probably low in fat and everything too. Ooh, Costco's got some really good stuff. If you really read the package labels, although we're assuming all true. Godier's good, yeah. He was a beekeeper one time. That's that right? My buddy back at Northern Michigan University, John Kyle, has got some beekeepers. Oh, I didn't know Gordy was a beekeeper. He was actually like a smart businessman too. It just, and again, my opinion, I felt like they kind of made a mistake the way they structured it all, but didn't Gratian Doogie own Sticks? Yes, they did. They also owned 21 North. And I think Gresh owned another restaurant too. That was it Blue Moon? Was it Blue Moon? Yeah, I think. And George McPhee at the time was working there. He was putting himself through law school. There's a successful, and intelligent man too, George McPhee. He, again, after career, he went to law school. Started off in the agent business when I was in the agent business, and then became assistant general manager. I think was his first job in Vancouver with Brian Burke and Pat Quinn. I think that's who he's with. And then he got the head job after that with the Washington Capitals. And, Brian McClellan, another former teammate, really did a fine job of finishing off that team and won the Stanley Cup. But George really played a big role, too, and getting a lot of the players there. So, yeah, he's good. Smart guy, motivated. Let me see here. McPhee owned the Blue Moon Cafe. I can't remember, Danny. I thought he was working there. I didn't think he owned it. I thought Greshner owned it with somebody else, but I could be wrong. I know George was involved in it, but I could be wrong on that. Laidlaw owned Tommy Shit. Man. Tommy Shithouse. Oh, that Danny Arias. You just never know what you're going to get. It's like he's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, right? Didn't Lane have a bad? Yes, he did. Yeah, very bad starting problem. Yeah, but he was one of those guys, not unlike Tim Kite, who had the handicap of the hearing. Didn't affect him at all. I mean, it's different, but I didn't really know that he had a really bad starting problem until we did this business together. This next shift, and started hanging out. Good guy. Again, it's unfortunate that didn't work out. It was a good concept. A whole bunch of players were getting together. Again, I just disagreed the way it was structured. But again, that's my recollection of it. He may have a different story to it, but H2O, yes, I do need to hydrate. You are correct. Get some my amino energy drink going on there. Got a lot of amino acids, and electrolytes in it to get you hydrated more. Did you play with Lucky Deuce? Yes. Actually, he's the president of the team now. Rob Blake is the general manager. But anyway, and I tell you, there's a really intelligent guy. And it's not that I would underestimate how to. Usually, like in a lot of cases of when players become presidents, it's kind of a figurehead position. They go golfing with corporate sponsors and all that kinds of stuff. But Luke is right into the numbers. Actually, John Ledecky, who owns the Islanders now, was looking to buy a team, and I was fooling around in that business a little bit and set them up. And that's really why I first started listening to Luke about how the team was run and the numbers. And he was no figurehead. He was in there making decisions. So it's good to see when former players are like that. When they, my old college roommate Don Waddell down in Carolina, same thing. There's been lots of guys that for a while there. It wasn't former players that were going to. I think what it was too is realizing this is a full-time job, and more than a full-time job too. They get in there early, they stay late. They get some time off during the summer, but they get paid well now, but they work hard at it too. So let me see, any dancing videos from Jackie? Well, it's just the one short video. I think I mentioned his name before. Michael Ali used to work for the Rangers. He used to do all alumni stuff that Jackie does that now, and he now works for the Islanders. And he and I were up dancing together. I didn't think he'd do it. I said to him, I said, come on, let's get up there and dance. He says, okay. I said, when I asked, I can't back down now. So we didn't dance the whole song. We were just dancing together. Funny. He's one of those great guys too. The loose cannon is here. What's happening, loose cannon? Good to see you, her and her magical family there. Let me see here. Yeah, if nice were living in it, do you think the two of you would have pushed each other and workouts? I don't really. I don't think I'd work any harder. It's going to sound kind of conceited, maybe, but and I think he's the same way. Yeah, I don't go harder when I'm working out with somebody. I work as hard as I do because that's just part of my life now too. So when I go to the gym, like I prepare myself mentally and physically to go there and work, and to not just go through the motions. So it's little things like. So if I typically most exercises will try to do 5 sets of 12 reps. So I'll always try as much as I can. I'll try to pick a weight that let's say around the 8th rep, your body and your brain are kind of like a self-defense mechanism. So they'll tell you a certain point that you're getting tired, and typically then people will then stop because the body's telling them they need to stop. And again, it's meant as a defense mechanism. It doesn't mean anybody's weak or anything like that. But you can train yourself to then go, okay, so you get to the 8th rep and your body's telling you to quit, but you don't quit. But you don't worry about 12 reps. You worry about the 9th rep, and then you worry about the 10th rep, just one at a time. And then once you get the 12 done, and after a while, it doesn't have the same effect all the time, but it's when you first do it, you say, oh, well, that's pretty cool. It's like I was going to quit when I was at 8, and I didn't think I could do any more. And then you do it. And then now once you program your brain to work that way, then you just keep pushing yourself all the time. So I totally, you guys know, I've said this before, total respect for Bob Measure. So I don't mean to say I would go any hard. If I go to the gym, it's there to work. So, I mean, listen, you're not always going to have perfect days. There's some days where you talk about it. We've talked about it all the time where you will not always have motivation, but you can always have discipline. So in those days where, like today wasn't a great day for me there, but I was even complaining not going. I said, get up, like get your feet on the floor and have your discipline. And it's and the thing, anybody can train themselves to be that way. Listen, I'm not against having a trainer to work out with you, especially if you don't know everything, all stuff in the gym. But especially if you see some trainers that are standing there talking about their life while the person's supposed to be working out. To me, if I'm hiring a trainer, I don't. But if I was to hire a trainer, I want a trainer that pushes me. Like I want to get my money's worth out of that gym membership, and you just feel so much better about yourself. And the more you do it, the more you push yourself like that, the more you can do it too. And I know I surprise people sometimes where I put the suit on. They're like, "Oh, yeah, you clean up pretty good." I guess so much of my life now, the videos are in shorts and t-shirts and all that stuff. So, let's see. Yeah, I watched Luke Perkins' car from the pump in front of the Southgate Hotel. Cop came by and told me it was my car. Luke walked out and saw me talking to the cop. Give him a ticket. Signed ticket. Oh. Cool. Luke's a good guy. He really is a good guy too, and intelligent. Yeah, good man. He's great. Like, cause I don't live out there, so I asked him for favors a couple times. I had a buddy out there, a guy that actually coached, Max Como, who wanted to go to a game with him and his buddy, and Luke. He didn't just get tickets. He brought him up in his suite, sitting up there. And I told Max, "Don't you screw around up there. The guy's doing me a favor." Oh, here, just sharing the Silly Salt Love. There you go. The Silly Salt Love. That's perfect. Oh, I forgot to mention to you, I will see you, Loose Cannon in Detroit. I forgot to mention this. The end of the month, I'm going in on the 29th, I believe. So a great guy, Joe Neville. He's not really part of the Red Wing alumni, but he does a lot. Must be a very successful man. He is putting on a charity game between the Boston Bruins alumni and the Red Wing alumni, and he wants to do the Rangers. So he contacted me through Frank Simonetti, who runs the Bruins alumni. And contacted me, asked me if I would come in. He's flying me in, putting up the hotel bed so I could see the game and everything around the game to convince the Rangers to do the same thing next spring. So I'll be in Detroit. I'll get the exact dates on that. Anybody that's in Detroit. And I think the Silly Salt girls are having a display there. And I think the game's the 30th. I'm flying in there in 20. Staying downtown. I think it's Fraser, Michigan is the game. Let me see. CCC. Let me see. I never updated you, but my daughter had to retake the math. Oh man, what's the G's? She passed. Good job. Well, I mean, listen, it worked out well. And I guess it's, you know what? I know I probably would have been the same. I would have been mad, that your daughter's working hard to pass the test and they lose the test. But I guess the good thing that came from her was she fought through it. And I guess it makes her a little bit stronger too, right? I guess that's how we have to look at that situation. Aria, you're such a perv. She is potty. She was married previously and had a son with an actor. I can't remember what his name was. I think it was more his famous actor's son. Who's the actor that? I can't remember who it was. Where Tom's? It's the wrong word, but they're very nice people. Okay, that's all we'll say. First one is my son's mother, so I can't say anything bad about her. The second one was actually a total sweetheart. She was hot too. She was a figure skater model. Yes. Oh, goodness. Yes, you will be there, you magical creature. Okay, she's got the dates here for me. The event is the 30th at Fraser at Big Boy Arena. I didn't know it was called Big Boy Arena. Oh, man. Big Boy Arena. I'm going to go to the Big Boy Arena. I used to eat Big Boy all the time. There's a Big Boy up in Marquette, Michigan, I believe. We used to go there. When we were hungover the next morning, we'd go there. Oh, we were awful. We would actually say to ourselves, I can't. We'd go. So the next morning after a party, which is all the time, we all had Jeeps. So we take the Jeep off, sunny weather during the summer, and go hungover. I think we went to, we would get mushroom burgers at, I can't remember which restaurant it was. We would drive, we'd have nothing on but our bathrobes. we wanted to get dressed, and we just go to, and so like four of us in the Jeep order. I think it was the drive-through then too. Oh God, man! I wonder when people saw us coming there. It must have been. I think I told you this one woman. She worked for a financial planner that I was dealing with in Michigan when I was living out there. I didn't know her at Northern Michigan at all, but she was a hockey fan and all that stuff. So she said to me at one point, she goes, "Yeah, you guys lived all out." Yeah, we did. We would have parties, especially after my first year pro, where I had some money. We lived on this blue house on 3rd Street, I think it was, in Marquette, kind of a busier street. So we'd have kegs of beer, and people that would be at the party at night would be going on their way to work, driving by the house. We had a big deck out front. We're still sitting out there. Sometimes we were playing hockey out in the street, like at 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning, being up all night. They're driving by and looking at us like, oh, man, that was a blast. So, yeah, that was a fun time. Yes. Very beautiful woman. Luke's wife was married to Chad McQueen. That's right. So Steve McQueen's son. Right. Good job, Mimsy. Yeah. A son too. So that was Luke's stepson. Guy, he's got to be like my son's age, I think so. Good job. Good research there, Mimsy. You magical creature. Let me see here. Is Tom through with model types? It could be feet models, hand models, butt models. Oh, you never say you're through. I mean, you never know what happens. Maybe I'm a little bit more intelligent, or maybe to realize that their looks are everything. Oh, goodness. Oh. Yes, sorry, Deb. And I apologize. I mentioned this earlier in the show that I should have contacted you. You were nice enough to suggest that if I do have to change times, I should notify you, and you'd send out a notification. And I didn't do that, and I apologize to you. So tomorrow we are not doing a show because we are filming or recording 3 episodes of the Full Change podcast. Lucien Debois, former Ranger, young guy that does all this stick handling stuff. He's got like 150,000 followers on Instagram. I didn't know Tom had mentioned to me who we were getting, and I looked him up, and I've seen his videos before. I mean, he's not as creative as Larry Melnick in his videos. That's it. Because who is Mimsy? You were all over me too. You were giving me a hard time about my videos. You're teaming up with Tracy. Give me a hard time. Relentless. Let me see. Mimsy is out. Susan Brooksing. Oh, I get you. Very nice. Brooksing. I didn't get that at first. You're short an O. I got an extra K in there. But listen, your effort, that was a solid effort. That could be one of your best efforts in a long time. Still not the way it should be, but it was a good effort. Susan Brooksing. Good effort. That's it. You keep working at stuff. You're losing your weight. You're doing good. Mimsy knows her stuff too. She knows her stuff. That's a good call by you, though. Good call. And she's a very pretty girl too. Luke's wife. What's her name? I can't remember her name now. But again, I'm really glad. I'm glad when guys like that, especially former teammates, do well. But any former players. But some guys get a little bitter about that. There's some jealousy there when people are successful after the game. A lot of guys done very well. Mel continues to play the role as Tom Laidlaw's Punchy May. I'm seriously, I'm going to do a video of me watching the videos and picking which ones. Because when I find one and I think, oh, that's a good one, then I go over and over and watch it over and over all the time too. Let me see here. How many hours a day do you spend looking at? I really don't. Not that long, really. I think it's more like if I'm done all the stuff I need to do. Again, I'm up at 3:30, so then I'll sit down, and it is an addiction now too. Like just so all the stuff I'm posting is goofy stuff, obviously, but there's some very educational stuff too. Even about how to look at things. So who was it did a video? I think it was a comedian too. George Carlin, I think it was. So it's an older video talking about, let's get this straight. The Earth has been here for 5 billion years. We've only been here for a couple 100,000 as people. And we've really only been using equipments and machines like the last 200 years. And the Earth has been through tornadoes and hurricanes and ice ages and all this stuff has been through. So we think we're arrogant enough to think that we're changing the climate with the stuff we're doing. And again, notice what they're doing too. Like there's two different issues: climate change and the global warming. So climate change to me is, I think this is the correct scientific way to look at it. Climate change is a guaranteed fact. I mean, it's just we've had ice ages. The climate's always gone up and down. That's a separate issue. And the global warming is another one. But they're trying to combine the two. I think they're trying to combine the two because people say, well, yeah, climate change is the real deal. So the lump the global warming in with climate change, where global warming is a separate issue. Some people debate, is it really warming? And is like, how much of that is our responsibility and can we reverse it? I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. I saw the guy that started the Weather Channel, and he was getting interviewed by somebody, and I think it was CNN host, and said to him, so he was debunking the whole global warming thing. He's the guy that started the Weather Channel, and the CNN host says, well, there's like 187 out of 190 scientists all say that it is. He says, well, yeah, who do you think funds those scientists? Well, the government funds the scientists, so they'll do what they're told to do because they want to keep getting their money. No, so I don't know. I've seen things too where a congressman or senator had somebody that was a pro global warming person. They were interviewing him, and he read this letter. The senator did, talking about how that in the next 10 years, the fish are going to die. And the global warming person goes, yeah, you're right. And he said, listen, this letter was written in like 1920. And it didn't happen. So kind of set that person up. So I don't know. That's I am not a scientist. I don't. You make a good team. Yes, you do. You. Here's what's gonna. I can tell you right now what's going on. Okay, so I didn't notify anybody really that we're having this show today instead of Thursday. She probably knows that the show is on right now, but she doesn't want to make it look like she's got time to switch her schedule to come and be on the show with the rest of us. So it's that a little bit of a diva act, right? Just saying that's probably what happened. But all right, everybody. Again, thank you for understanding. We changed the show around. It's you know what? I put that away. The beach I go to, Todd's Point, has a big sign up now, and I don't think it's because of me, but it's a big sign at the front when you go in that says no flying. It's a no drone zone. So, and part of us too is like there's a little more to fly it than of course I didn't read the instructions, and I go right out to the beach and turn the thing on, and all of a sudden starts going out in the ocean. So I need to get on and practice with it because it does some really good pictures with the video. So I've got to get back on that. And I was all excited about that too. It's not that big of a deal. One of the biggest things is there's not a whole lot of a difference the way it looks from the front and the back. So if you're not paying attention whether you're going forward or in reverse, and then you try to, so it's going away from you and you can't really see the detail of it, and then you try to stop it from moving. Well, sometimes you're going the wrong direction. So you're making it go faster away from you and instead of bringing it back to you. So it's practice. Got to get out there practice. Funny stuff though. All right, everybody. Good show today. Mimsy, I think I'd have to give you a first start today, Mimsy. The effort, the detail. I think, Susan's right in there. Ira for like content and effort was up there high, but, being exact and, everything. So everybody, good job. We will see everybody next Monday for the Mark Puttenvink show. And then we'll be back on our regular schedule back next Thursday. So everybody have a great week.